On June 11, 2025, Zambia prepares to receive the body of its former president, Edgar Lungu. But the moment is not just about mourning. It has reopened old wounds. In his final days, Lungu quietly left Zambia after being denied official permission to seek medical treatment abroad. He died in South Africa, far from home. After his death, a new controversy began. His family publicly rejected the state's involvement in any funeral arrangements. They insisted it would be a private family affair, not a national event. Now, as his body returns to Lusaka, the debate has come back stronger than ever. Who truly has the right to lead his final farewell? The government or the family he left behind? On the morning of June 11, 2025, Zambia will receive the body of its former president, Edgar Lungu, at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport. A military escort is expected to be part of the reception, a move that signals official involvement, despite the family's clear request for a private funeral. Government sources say this is a matter of protocol for a former head of state, while the family insists that such decisions were not agreed upon. Media crews from across the country are already stationed at the airport. Security has been increased, with military and police presence stretching from the runway to central Lusaka. Even in the smallest details, who carries the casket, who speaks first, which route the convoy will take, signs of tension are still visible. State officials are preparing for a dignified event. The family remains quiet, offering no public confirmation about their role. Across Lusaka, people are waiting. Flags are at half-mast. Shops along the main roads are expected to pause operations during the convoy's arrival. On radio and TV, callers express mixed emotions: sorrow, confusion, and deep respect for the man they once called president. It's not just a funeral, it's a country watching itself respond to loss, while still divided. Hours after the body of Edgar Lungu arrived in Lusaka, President Hakainde Hichilema's office released an official statement. The former president will receive a full state funeral. According to the statement, this decision is both a constitutional responsibility and a gesture of national respect. Former President Edgar Lungu served the Republic of Zambia at the highest level. It is our duty to honor his service with the dignity it deserves, the press release read. In Zambia, a state funeral includes several official rituals. These typically begin with a formal military procession, often led by army commanders and followed by ceremonial guards. National prayers are scheduled across churches, mosques, and other places of worship. Flags across all government buildings are lowered to half-mast. And at exactly 12 noon on the day of burial, a 1-minute nationwide silence will be observed in schools, offices, and parliament. Despite public messages of unity, sources close to the family say there is still discomfort. The family had earlier requested a quieter, less political burial, but government officials insist that this is standard national protocol, not a personal decision. The Minister of Information told reporters, "This is not about politics. It is about the state recognizing one of its own. The nation must mourn with order, with honor." As Zambia enters a week of official mourning, the contrast between public ceremony and private grief is beginning to show. For many citizens, it's not just about what is being done. It's about who is deciding how the farewell will unfold. At the heart of Zambia's mourning is now Belvedere Lodge, a quiet, formal venue located just outside central Lusaka. Known for hosting high-level state events in the past, the lodge has now been designated as the official site where citizens can come to pay their last respects to former President Edgar Lungu. The government selected Belvedere Lodge for both symbolic and practical reasons. It's a secure location with capacity for dignitaries, religious leaders, and the general public. In the past, the same space was used during periods of national mourning and remembrance. By early morning, the I-Base Lodge had been transformed. A public viewing area was set up with heavy military presence on the perimeter. Inside, a framed portrait of Edgar Lungu stands beside a national flag and a wall of fresh white flowers. Candles line the walkways. Prayer sessions are scheduled. Throughout the day, led by priests, pastors, and imams representing Zambia's major faiths. Zambians from across the country are being encouraged to attend. Buses from outer provinces have been arranged by local councils. Schools and businesses have been given partial closure orders to allow public participation. However, despite the formal tone of the event, the Lungu family released a separate statement. They made it clear that they do not support the government's staging of this state-led farewell, but they will not interfere with Zambians who wish to mourn in their own way. We ask for peace. We ask for dignity. And we ask that our father's memory not be turned into political theater, the statement said. Belvedere now stands as a stage of quiet emotion, not just for the man, but for what his legacy means to the nation. Behind closed doors, government ministries are working around the clock to manage the scale and symbolism of Edgar Lungu's state funeral. 3 ministries are leading the effort: defense, culture, and religious affairs. Each has a defined role. The Ministry of Defense is coordinating military protocol. The Ministry of Culture is handling public events and media coverage, while the Ministry of Religious Affairs is curating interfaith ceremonies that reflect Lungu's public identity and personal faith. The official timeline is expected to unfold over 4 days. A memorial service at Belvedere Lodge will be followed by a formal procession through Lusaka's key civic landmarks. If reports are accurate, the burial will take place at the presidential burial grounds just outside the capital, though the family has not publicly confirmed this. The program includes a list of selected speakers: military commanders, senior, members of parliament, national clergy, and at least one representative from the African Union. Each is expected to deliver a eulogy shaped around service, legacy, and national identity. Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation, ZNBC, has been granted exclusive rights to air the events live across radio, television, and social media channels. International news crews are also expected. Among symbolic honors, a 21-gun salute is already confirmed. A military flyover may be added, depending on weather and security conditions. It is a full ceremonial farewell. And for the government, every gesture, from speeches to salutes, is meant to frame Lungu's death as not just the end of a leader, but the close of an era. Across Zambia, emotions are running high. On one side are citizens who believe the government is doing the right thing. For them, Edgar Lungu deserves full national honors, regardless of political history. He was our president. He served this country. We must show respect, said a middle-aged man outside Belvedere Lodge, holding a small Zambian flag and a white rose. Online, many echoed this view, saying the state funeral was about the people, not the politicians. But others are not convinced. Some feel the government is using the moment to rewrite history. A young woman interviewed in Lusaka's Kalingalinga neighborhood said, "It's strange. When he needed support, he was ignored. Now they want to celebrate him?" Social media has become a mirror of this divide. One popular comment reads, "Where was the love when he was still alive? This feels staged." Another replied, "Even if the government has an agenda, Lungu still deserves a proper goodbye." This tension between genuine mourning and political performance is growing louder. Some fear it will overshadow the solemnity of the moment. There is now rising pressure from civil groups, religious leaders, and ordinary citizens for both the state and the family to find common ground, to let the farewell be about the man, not the message, and to ensure that this moment, whether in silence or ceremony, reflects dignity, not division. This wasn't just a farewell. It was a quiet struggle between dignity and control, between tradition and timing. Edgar Lungu, once the head of state, returned to the soil he once served, but his final days revealed more than grief. They showed the cracks in how a country remembers its leaders. The ceremony was filled with respect, but also silent questions. Whose goodbye was it? Zambia's or his family's? In the end, it wasn't just a funeral. It was a final test of how a nation chooses to remember its own. So what do you think? Did the state do the right thing, or should this moment have belonged entirely to the family? If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe, and let us know in the comments. How should a country say goodbye?